Hi, and welcome to McKonly Asbury's mini tax update series. This one particularly is on two tax credit programs in Pennsylvania: the Educational Improvement Tax Credit Program, the EITC for short, and the Opportunity Scholarship Tax Credit Program, OSTC. My name is Mike Eby, and I'm director of our state and local tax practice here at McKonly Asbury. So thanks again for joining us. I'm going to try to do this under 10 minutes for this presentation. I have done a longer one in the past, and I will reference that at the end of the slideshow today. That was about a 35-minute presentation. If you would like additional information, you'll be able to click on that. So what is the EITC and the OSTC? Well, first of all, let's do a little background here. It's a tax credit that's awarded to businesses that make contributions to qualifying organizations. And these organizations get qualified with the DCED. Under the EITC umbrella, there's three different subdivisions. There's the Educational Improvement Organizations, Scholarship Organizations, and the Pre-K Scholarship Organizations. So it's a different application for each, depending on what the business would want to contribute to, what type of organization the business would want to contribute to. But the Pre-K Scholarship Organization also has a different credit amount, which we'll talk about that. And then there's the OSTC, completely different credit than the EITC. Very similar in rules. In fact, when the OSTC came out, it was actually called EITC 2.0 for a brief amount of time because it is just so similar. The only difference is that there's only one program under this, and it's for scholarship organizations, and these organizations have to give scholarships to students that are in underperforming school districts to allow them to go to other schools, either public or private. To find qualifying organizations, the list is actually on the DCED's website. A lot of organizations, hundreds and hundreds that qualify. You can see the website there on the screen, newpa.com. That website also has a lot of great information about both programs. The budget for the EITC and OSTC is $125 million and $50 million respectively for this past fiscal year, 16-17. That's up a lot from where the program started. The EITC, when it came out in 2001, was $30 million budget, and the OSTC just recently came out about 3 or 4 years ago. So you can see the program's definitely expanded quite a bit and has become very popular. All those funds are always utilized, particularly for the EITC program. So the credit amounts, as I mentioned, it's either a 75% tax credit for businesses that make a one-year commitment. So they make it for 1 year, and then they're not obligated to do it into the future. Or businesses could get bumped up for 90% tax credit for 2 years, each year getting a 90% tax credit if they sign up for a 2-year commitment. The maximum a business can make is $750,000 of credit amount that they could receive in a year. So, and that actually applies to two EITC, what I would say subdivisions there, scholarship organizations and the education improvement organizations, and to the OSTC program. As I mentioned, the pre-K scholarship organizations under the EITC umbrella is different credit amounts, actually 100% credit up to the first $10,000 contributed, and 90% credit after that, up to a maximum of 200% or 200,000 credit per year, and that could be a 1 or 2 year commitment as well. So it's a better program in terms of tax credits, or a better section of the EITC program, but it's less organizations qualify, so that's why they I think concentrate a little more on that and give a better credit to businesses that participate in that one. The benefits of this: you can utilize this credit against several different tax types. I highlighted three main ones there: corporate net income tax, which C corps pay in Pennsylvania; bank shares tax, which obviously financial institutions pay; and then personal income tax, which everyone pays in Pennsylvania. Particularly though, S corp owners and partnerships, would fall under that umbrella as well, because their owners are individuals typically, and that would be under the personal income tax umbrella there. The nice thing about personal income tax is that once it gets flowed through to the individual, it doesn't matter if the tax is generated from income from the business. It could be utilized against tax that's associated with their income on dividends or wages or anything, as long as the individual itself has tax on its personal return. This really works out well in a year where the business might not have income. The owners themselves might still have wages or income from other sources that they'll be able to utilize the credit in that year, even if the business didn't make any income. Special purpose entities, I've seen these pop up quite a bit the last couple of years. It's actually Department of Revenue sanctioned this. They came out and said, well, we want to open the EITC and OSTC programs to many more individuals. So individuals that don't necessarily own businesses but are employees of Pennsylvania organizations, they can actually come together and create a partnership for the sole purpose of making contributions into the EITC and OSTC programs and then receive the credit then on their personal returns. So pretty neat idea there. We've already talked also about the 90% and 75% credits respectively for the various commitments in the programs. You actually get a little better benefit of that as well, because you got to consider in the federal charitable contribution deduction that C Corps and personal individuals can receive as well. Now, it does net against a reduction in state taxes because of the credits, so it washes out a little, but there is still a net federal benefit typically, not taking into consideration maybe AMT or anything like that. But if you're in the highest marginal brackets for a C corporation or a pass-through entity, and obviously an individual that owns a pass-through entity, you would, if you're making a $10,000 contribution, you might only be paying about $10 out of pocket if you're a C corporation. And for a pass-through entity as an S corp or a partnership, it might only be around $650 out of pocket. So for businesses that are already contributing to organizations that qualify for this program, they could triple, quadruple, or even many more times than that up their contributions to these organizations with no additional money out of their pockets. Pretty neat idea. The application process is very simple. I do fill out a lot of applications for our clients, but you could certainly, it's simple enough that you could do on your own. For new applicants to either program, the application date opens July 1st, and you want to apply that day to have a better chance of getting it. Or it's the Monday after July 1st. For instance, this year it's July 3rd. Or May 15th for returning applicants, and that could be applicants that are fulfilling the second year of a 2-year commitment, or they're just fulfilled a full 2-year commitment and they're coming back. They get actually preferential treatment and get the earlier date as well to sign up for a new commitment. As I mentioned, the credit amounts there, the maximum $750,000 and $200,000 respectively for the programs. One idea that a couple years ago that the Department of Revenue had was to, if a program or a business that was applying for the EITC was denied EITC, because it is very popular and a lot of new businesses that apply don't get it because the returning applicants use up all the available credit. But the option was that if you were denied EITC, you would automatically be applied for OSTC. So that is an option on the application. It's a first come by first serve by day basis. So as long as your application is, if you're a new business, by July 1st, it doesn't matter if it's 11 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock in the morning, it's all going to be considered the same day. And the website, it's an only online application now, and it's, like I said, fairly easy to fill out. And the website, again, is www.newpa.com. After approval, the rules will be stated right on the letter that you get from DECD if you are approved. And approval letters go out in waves, but typically if you're a new business, it would be November, December. The state budget's late in getting passed. It could be beyond that, though. From the day of that letter, you have 60 days to make the actual contribution to the organization, and within 90 days from the letter, you have to actually submit proof from the organization that you made the donation. It's the letter that you get from the organization stating how much you actually donated. You submit that to DCED, they review it, and then they pass along that information to the Department of Revenue so that you can obtain your credit. It's a use it or lose it credit, and that's very important to consider, because you need to make sure you have enough tax liability in a certain year to be able to utilize the credit, or it'll be wasted on your return. It can't be sold, assigned, or carried forward, but you can pass it through. As I said, if you're an S corp owner or S corp or a partnership, you can pass it through to the owners, and that would be done through the form Rev 1123. And there's no restrictions on how much credit you can utilize against your tax liability. You can wipe away 100% of your tax liability on your return for any given year. But again, can't roll it over. As I mentioned earlier, I do have a 30-minute archived webinar on the EITC program. If you would like to watch that, you could feel free to click on the link and go ahead and get some more information on the program. And I'll go into a little more detail on how the credit calculation actually works. My contact information is also on the screen. Certainly feel free to touch base with me or reach out if you have questions. If you're an organization that thinks you might qualify to be a EITC recipient, or your business who would like to participate in the program, I'd be happy to discuss that with you and answer any questions you might have. Thanks again for your time today.